Hi everyone, welcome to monthly project number 60. The theme for this one is create your own predator, which I thought would be a really fun theme. Like personally, I'm a huge Predator fan, and I just think there's a lot to build on there. You know, it's a huge universe, and you can kind of do whatever you like with it, really expand it. And I thought creating your own version, because we've seen multiple before now on screen. Especially with the most recent movie, Killer of Killers, it's called. And yeah, they just had all these different variants of, I say variants, I mean like, you know, they're different species and they've evolved differently. But I just love that concept. Anyway, let's get into this project today. So it is a little bit different because it's kind of strange. We've only had 2 submissions. So it's going to be a quick one. And this kind of thing hasn't happened before, having just 2 submissions, because it's, and I guess it's got a lot to do with the theme when I put out. A lot of people probably aren't a fan of Predator, or you know, it can be one of those things where it's a little more overwhelming. There's too much involved. Let's get into it and have a bit of a look. So, all right, first submission, Sai. This is yours, and you have a bit of a backstory to go along with it, which I really love. Let me just check this out. So it says, it's a hyena predator, and hyena x predator seen as scavengers. Hyenas, especially the spotted hyenas, are actually very effective predators. They are a top predator in many ecosystems and are known to hurt a variety of species. So, yeah, that's very true, and I really love the way that works when you tie it into a predator itself, like the character. I think it's a good mix, and it's very clever. You know what I really like is how you've got the, you know, taking the idea of an actual hyena and then trying to think of it in the alien predator is really cool, because yeah, you've got this little mohawk thing that goes up the back. They have that big hunched, you know, arching back. Look at the pointy ears. I've never seen that before. You know, having ears come out the side. That's very cool. And even little touches like having the, you know, the big teeth things, but you've got these little extra grabby teeth underneath, which is very cool. I can picture that when they're trying to chomp down and tear at, you know, the prey. So that's really cool. I can see the resemblance and the spots as well. So yeah, that's a really cool touch. I like that. I'm having a look at the weapons. This gauntlet looks really cool with the chain up the side as well. Oh, it's like a hook thing too, hook blade. You see that? See, that's awesome to, you know, really push it out a little more and try and come up with a gadget that hasn't been done. I've never seen that. I say gadget, but I mean like a, you know, like a weaponized. They're very good at that in Predator. They have all these unique killing tools. That is great. I like that. Yeah, very very nice idea here. Overall, I do like the art, the pose. You have this kind of flair to your style, which is really cool. Like this, it's animated kind of flair almost. Like you have a really nice flow through your drawings, and like edge as well. Very stylized, and I've always been a big fan of that with your work. So this is really cool to see. If I was going to give some feedback, I'd probably say maybe a little less of the texture overall. You see these kind of textures up through here. The kind of bushy scrub textures are a little off style for this. You got, like, I like how these leaves in the back are like comic style, but these ones here are more realistic kind of fibers that look like they're coming down. It's not bad though. It actually is not bad. It works. And then there's this texture coming through here. That's not too bad, but it does get a little pixelated slightly. But yeah, like from a distance, it's got that grunge look to it. So yeah, not too bad. I like that. So some more feedback I'm just noticing now. So yeah, things like having the leg silhouetted, but then also the back of the hand silhouetted. They're just getting lost in each other now. You see this? So yeah, I would have probably, with that choice, I probably would have just had the hand normal, just outlined. Don't silhouette them fingers. You could still darken them such, but I still would have had them outlined and like these fingers here. So that, do that in the back fingers. And that way it'll separate from that leg. So you could have done that with the fingers and then have the leg shown maybe as full render like the arm here. Either or. So that way they don't get lost in each other. And the same with this one here. To have these fingers all faded out into black, I wouldn't do that when it comes to forward here to the light. Just keep that a little more. Even just the fingers and knuckles, just bring them full strength back and then have it fade back into black maybe. It's somehow. Those two things are a little distracting there, and yeah, and they also you've got this texture taking over it. It's lightening up here. These fingers are starting to get very lost within the leg, and everything is just merging together too much. You want to have it look like it's in the foreground at you a little more. Like just lift that off. You don't need it to be faded off as much. You could probably get that fade continue through the leg, but then keep the hand full strength with black outlines. Like you have kind of here, that's full strength black outlines in the back, but this front one isn't. So you're getting a loss of dimension there, and I think that would. So yeah, I'd change that around a little bit. But overall, really good. I think the only other thing that could be bringing it down slightly is the chain as well. So because I like everything else here, I do like the way you've done this. Yeah, the mechanics or the belt straps and things like that, all of this looks really cool. But when you get to this chain, it almost comes across too basic, too cartoony, and it's also one dimension. It's just a side chain going up like this, where the chain should like twist and fold and be like dangly and kind of tangled a little more as it goes up, maybe like a messy chain. Do you know what I mean? And it also doesn't have perspective to it. It's the same thickness all the way around, even though the arm and the forearm is more like this or this almost. You see that? So the chain should be bigger here and then getting smaller as it goes back. So that I would change that. As well with the spear, seems like it's has a perspective to it. It definitely does. It's got an angle to it, but the hand kind of slightly doesn't. It's the grip. I think as it goes up, the spear seems to change direction, if you notice. So up here, the perspective is like, I'm just trying to do it with my hand like that. But when you go down to the bottom, perspective's more like that. So, and I get it, like it'd be more like that. But you don't want that. If he's aiming the spear toward you, you just have it more like continuously aiming. That way. Sorry, see my finger. You want the spear continuously aiming that way. At the moment, it looks like it's bending backwards. Do you know what I mean? It looks like it's like a banana-shaped spear because it's bending back in space that way. So it almost looks like it's, bending back. I'm really bad at this camera angle thing. So that's the other thing I just noticed there as well. Cool. All right, we better move on. I know there's only two, but hopefully those tips help there. So I really love this piece. I think you've done a great job of that concept. Awesome work. All right, Patrick De Thomas, other submission here. This is really cool. I like what you've done. I'll just check and see if you had a description. There was no description of this predator, like to explain it a little more. So I'm just gonna suss it out from what I see, and give you some feedback as well from everything that I'm kind of looking at here. So yeah, very cool. This is definitely, instantly you can be like predator. It definitely looks like a predator. I like what you've done. I love the gadget, the way you've done the detailing through that. Very cool. So overall, and this is more like a snowy set. That is separating it from a lot of the others. I don't think I've really seen one that's adapted to the snow and those conditions too much. So that's really cool. And if that is the case as well, I'm just thinking now out loud. Let's say that this is a predator that's adapted or evolved in snowy conditions, maybe a snowy planet. It'd be cool. My first thought would be maybe it'd have a different tone of skin, maybe pale near like white, even like to blend in, with the conditions around it, or a hint of blue skin, like a icy kind of tone to the skin. So that's the only thing that I was noticing here was it's the same kind of usual tone of the predator, which we've seen before, So it would have been really cool and different to branch out and be unique. Do you know what I mean? Because at the moment it looks like classic Predator too much. But I do like this. It works really well. But it does look a bit too classic. Do you know what I mean? The usual Predator. I like how you've got the thick fur. That's different. The armor, even around the padding and everything. It's all through it. Okay, so feedback-wise, I feel like it's a little thin in places. So this wrist and hand are a little bit too thin and kind of wiry, almost like really, really skinny through here, which is just slightly odd. And this forearm as well, the gadget on top doesn't allow too much room underneath. It looks like a very skinny forearm, especially when you get to this joint, the elbow. There's no muscle here that tells me that there's a big forearm through there. Same with the biceps and things, a little too thin. Let me put it in Photoshop real quick. I'll try something. And again, I don't want to say any of this is wrong in any way, because it's your design, and I'm not trying to take over or anything. But I want to try and give you some good feedback where I can, whatever I see. Also, one of the main things I'm noticing is the jaw and the mouth is the first thing that stood out to me. It's very small through here, or it doesn't have perspective. So what if I grab this, right, and we warp it? So I'll try and get it back for you. See if I can, like, you know, fix this up a little bit, or to show you what I mean. All right, so I've just finished those little warps. I just liquefied it to fix it around. So before, you see, I just felt like that mouth thing was just too small or something rather. So I think it needs to be much larger, especially since his head is like a focal point. It's right there and it's coming toward you. So yeah, really emphasizing that mouth and the roar, I think is quite important. And just proportionally, I think, to other Predators, and I know it's the concept, so it can be whatever you want, but that just looks more correct to me. So, yeah, I hope that's okay. I also, arched the teeth, so they're a little too flat and straight. Same with these ones. So I just kind of curved it around, since he's like his lower jaw is at a lower perspective. So if you see mine open, ready, you see that curve at the bottom there. So I'm doing that for his, and then yeah. So, yeah, and then the other thing I wanted to mention, it's like there needs to be a side jaw, like, out here. So it just doesn't seem like there's enough, like it needs something on the side to really, balance that out. So I might even just change my brush. But yeah, up there, that's really, I just feel like it was bothering me that there needs to be some kind of side anatomy like popping out there to just help frame the face. See, because you see here's the bottom jaw here, so that should flow up. Yeah, I probably made it too low. It should go up about there or something rather, to line up with that jaw as it goes up like this. And that's kind of what I was noticing, and it just feels a little more accurate to me now when I look at that. You probably just put little furry bits on it like this as well, something like that. You probably wouldn't see it from the other side too much though. And maybe some kind of like cheekbone that comes up and then out, whether you have that kind of detail forming up and through there, you know what I mean? And same here, whether it's like crow's feet that resemble like a side jaw and then up. Yeah, I'd recommend more black, instant black shading as well, whether it's like under the eye like this, just heavy touches of heavy black, to resemble. It'll really shape up things a lot harsher. I'll just put it in. So under the eye crack there, a little one under here, and here. That'll really bring out the expression more. I just feel like it's going to add a lot more to the intensity of this character. Do you know what I mean? So even under here, you could do more with the wrinkles as well. Make them pop more. Don't be afraid to use full black in some areas. I think that'll really enhance your work a lot, especially around eyes. Them eyes to pop, have pure black go around them as if it's like eyelashes or something rather. Pupils as well, pure black around there. And sorry, I'm just taking my time a little more. Yeah, so you see how adding that black, all that intense black shading around the eyes especially and all that, it's much more intense now. And I think that's really cool and a good way to do it. So I'd recommend that. And you'd have that go through your entire character all through. I just want to try a couple of more adjustment things. So yeah, like I mentioned with this arm, I'd go much wider and broader out here, like huge, much thicker. That wrist just needs to be much thicker. I'll just pull it out to the side. Sorry, I'm warping the blade and it's not looking too good. I'm sorry about that, but just so you know what I'm talking about. Even this, I'd just thicken that right out here and thicker fingers. But again, that can be whatever you want, I suppose, because it is your own predator. It can be lanky and yeah. Anyway, so do you see the changes there? All right. Last thing I want to kind of check is let's see if we can just change the colors of him slightly. Let me just see if I can. Like I mentioned, I just feel like we need that cooler look. Like, how unique can I get with this? Just as an idea, you know, because that's what this whole thing is all about. This whole project was ideas, concepts. Okay, so I might just try do camera raw filter. That's usually a good way to go. Go temperature. So yeah, change the temperature completely. Let's just pull that way back. Let's just see what happens. And tint. You could even, yeah, not green. We'll go more like a blue. Saturation down. Like this. Like that's not a bad start. Color grading. And then I want to think about more like highlights can be more like teal. Yeah, teal colors. And then shadows would be more down to purpley blues, which would be a really cool touch. Now I think we're going to get somewhere. And then I'll go light. I might go exposure. And you'll be more brighter and lighter. Maybe highlights wider. Yeah, there we go. You see that? And then whites up too. So we're just going to get more of a... It's going to be a pretty different looking predator in a way. That's fine. And then maybe I'll just check out what it is what's in effects. Add a little bit of grain. Why not? Dehaze. Oh yeah, dehaze is cool. We'll go +7. Clarity. Here we go. See, clarity is cool. You can go less clarity or more. I love playing around with camera raw filter and texture. We'll just bump that up a little bit too. Let's bring that. Yep. So let's try this. Now I'm going to try something. So if I go bring the original back, fill that black. There we go. And then now I want to start playing around and bringing back what we want. So I'll just get like some kind of brush. So I'll aim at bringing back more of that mouth, the natural tones of inside the skin colors, you know, that kind of stuff. Because that's kind of where you want to... Because otherwise it's going to look odd if it's all the blue. You want it to look as natural as possible. Right, then all I need to do is try and get the tones of this one right. So it's the green is not working. So we go camera raw filter, and now we need to pull it into the colors. We need to pull that more into the reddish. So tint, there we go. More like that. So I'll just hide that again and bring that over. And then I know it's looking a little odd, but it needs just the rest of the adjustments now. So I'm playing around with the opacity, and then the other thing is this one now just needs to be taken down in opacity, and then the rest is, I don't know, like highlights and things. Like, what do you think about something like this, just to be different? And then another color balance with highlights, adjustments. I don't know, you can do like pretty wild stuff to get something unique. Can you imagine something like this with black dreadlocks? Let me just try this out. Anyway, there we go. So I'll leave it. I'll leave it like that. You could kind of see what I mean. So let's go to the original, and then now. Do you see what I mean? I just think it's kind of unique, stands out more when you push the boundaries a little bit, and I just feel like I've never seen a Predator like this before. It's a bit of a vision, you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to take over your vision, but all I meant was that is a little too original, a little too much like the classic. So just trying to push it a little further. And yeah, I really like the way that works. I think that's really cool. Your drawings are awesome. Look at that. I love the way you drew him. It's so cool. All right. Well, I'm going to have to leave it there, I think. Yeah, the other thing would be to play around with the setting and like try and get some blue tones or something through there, just a bit of variation. It's a little too white. It's good. It's about right, but yeah. Yeah, I hope that helps, Patrick. That was really cool. Yeah, we'll finish it up. Okay, thanks. That'll do for this one. Thank you for watching, and sorry it's so short. And just a bit of an update there. So monthly projects are just going to be on a little bit of a break for 1 month. Just having 1 month off basically of this so that I can catch up on some work stuff that I've been doing, very intense. And I have to get on top of some major deadlines, huge deadlines. So a couple of things just on pause and back in the swing of things in like a week or two normally. But yeah, I thought the monthly project, let's just leave it for a little break. And as soon as it comes back on, so the 1st of September, I'll be releasing the new, we'll have a fresh monthly project to launch off. So August is going to just have a little bit of a rest. And that'll be really good. I'm going to come up with something that's really catchy that you can all really enjoy and get excited for, and we'll hit the ground running again. It's going to be great. So yeah, just a little bit of a pause. That'll really help me a lot and get on top of things. So we'll leave it at that. Thank you for watching, and yeah, have a good one. We'll see you in the next video.